The rain fell in relentless sheets, casting a dim and eerie glow on the desolate road ahead. The windshield wipers fought a losing battle against the deluge, their rhythmic swipes creating an unsettling sense of isolation within the confines of my car. I clutched the steering wheel, my knuckles turning white with every passing moment as I navigated the twisting path through the heart of the forest. It was a night ride I would never forget. The radio crackled with static, unable to find a stable frequency in the remote wilderness. The only sounds were the distant rumble of thunder and the pattering raindrops. A flicker of unease danced at the edges of my consciousness, as if an invisible presence was watching, waiting, just beyond the reach of my senses. I tried to shake off the feeling, attributing it to the darkness and the storm. My headlights cut through the thick mist that had settled like a shroud over the road. Shadows danced along the periphery, playing tricks on my vision. The forest seemed to press in on all sides, gnarled trees leaning menacingly toward the road as if eager to snatch me away. A chill crept up my spine, and I turned up the heater, trying to dispel the cold that seemed to seep into my very bones. As I rounded a bend, my headlights caught a figure standing by the roadside. A hitchhiker? In this weather? I hesitated, torn between the instinct to help and the fear of the unknown. The person's silhouette was cast in stark relief against the glow of my headlights. Drenched and disheveled, they appeared to be a woman, her eyes hidden beneath the brim of a sodden hat. Against my better judgment, I slowed down and rolled down the window a fraction. "Need a ride?" I called out over the roar of rain. The woman turned her head slowly, her face emerging from the shadows. Her eyes were hollow, devoid of warmth or recognition. "Please," she whispered, her voice like a spectral echo. A shiver ran down my spine, but I couldn't leave her alone in this storm. I unlocked the passenger door, and she climbed in without a word. The air in the car seemed to thicken, as if her presence brought with it an otherworldly heaviness. I stole a glance at her, the glow from the dashboard revealing her gaunt features. Her clothes clung to her as though melded to her skin. "Where are you headed?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. She didn't respond, her vacant eyes fixed straight ahead. The road stretched on, the trees now forming a tunnel of darkness through which we traveled, a mere island of light in a sea of black. The atmosphere in the car grew oppressive, and I fought the urge to break the silence. Minutes turned into an eternity, and I realized with a start that the landscape outside hadn't changed. It was as though we were trapped in a loop, forever driving through this isolated stretch of road. Panic clawed at my chest, and I hit the brakes, bringing the car to a skidding stop. "What's happening?" I demanded, turning to the woman beside me. She turned her head, her gaze finally locking onto mine. "We're in her domain now," she murmured cryptically. "Her domain?" I repeated, confusion and fear warring within me. Before she could respond, a deafening crash split the air, and the car shook violently. I looked out the window to see a colossal tree had fallen across the road, blocking our path. My heart raced as I fumbled for my phone, but there was no signal. It was as though the world beyond the forest had ceased to exist. The woman's lips curled into a sad smile. "She won't let you leave." "Not now." "Who won't let me leave?" "What do you mean?" I pleaded, my voice tinged with desperation. In answer, the car's interior was bathed in an otherworldly glow. The mist outside swirled and coalesced, forming the shape of a woman, her features contorted in agony. She reached out with ethereal hands, her fingers brushing against the glass. A scream caught in my throat as I recognized her. The woman from the stories, the one who had died on this very road, forever bound to it in her tragic end. The car doors locked on their own, and the woman inside chuckled softly, a sound that sent chills down my spine. "You're her now, just as I once was, cursed to wander this road, seeking a way out but never finding it." "No!" I screamed, pounding on the windows. The woman outside pressed her face against the glass, her hollow eyes locking onto mine. And then, with a sickening jolt, the car began to move. The steering wheel turned on its own, and I was powerless to resist. The forest whirred past in a blur, the road twisting and turning in a malevolent dance. I was trapped, a pawn in a game I couldn't hope to comprehend. Time lost all meaning as the horror of my situation consumed me. The woman in the car with me laughed and wept in equal measure, her presence a constant reminder of my impending fate. My mind became a maelstrom of fear and despair, the line between reality and nightmare blurring beyond recognition. And then, as abruptly as it had begun, the car screeched to a halt. My heart raced as I looked around, disoriented and trembling. The mist had cleared, and I found myself back on the road where it had all started. The woman beside me was gone. I stumbled out of the car, my legs shaking, and looked around. The rain had stopped, and the forest was still once more. There was no sign of the woman, no trace of the spectral figure that had haunted my journey. As the first light of dawn touched the horizon, I walked away from the car, my steps heavy and my mind fractured. The horror of that night would forever be etched into my soul, a chilling reminder that some roads are better left untraveled, some stories better left untold.